I did a best of camera gimbals a few weeks ago, but there's something that those gimbals cannot do that these $100 smartphone gimbals can. So we're gonna play with these today. What up, AFAM? In this video, we are gonna compare the hottest phone gimbals of the year. It's hot. Most of us have phones with cameras already on it, and I often get the question about how do I get started in filmmaking if I don't own my own camera, even though they're underestimating the camera that's already in their pocket. And by the way, I didn't own my own camera until 8 years after I started shooting. Yeah, that was a long time. Just be patient and your dream camera will come. But for now, use your phone. One of the ways to up your production value is gonna be to use one of these smartphone gimbals. We have the DJI OSMO Mobile 2, the MOZA Mini-Me, and the Zhiyun Smooth 4. I'll be breaking them down into simple categories. First of all, they all have built-in batteries and they all can carry most of our smartphones. Now, if you have like a smartphone with a plus that's larger than normal, I don't unfortunately have one myself to test it out, so I would double check before you purchase any of these. But here's a payload for all of them. First things first, the MOZA wins out on the strongest motors because it could hold a payload of 300 grams. Other best with this gimbal in terms of build is that it has the best ergonomics, which means it's the most comfortable to hold in your hand. For mounting your phone with this gimbal, you could either mount it on the right or left, depending on your preference. And it's the only gimbal that you could have a 360 rotation, which is pretty useful in this upcoming feature that I'll show you in a minute. Even though you'll probably be throwing these gimbals in your backpack, the MOZA case is the most professional looking of them all. Let me show you. Let me whip it out. So here's the MOZA case. It's got this like carbon fiber color to it. And it's got nice padding. Compared to the other two, they both come in this like styrofoam box. The OSMO Mobile 2 is the most compact out of the three and has the longest battery life of 15 hours. Well, damn. Also, the buttons on the handle are the most minimalistic, even though they do a lot of things, and I really dig the texture on this joystick. The Smooth 4 is the only one that comes in different color variations of black or white, and it's the only one that charges via USB-C. The other two have a micro USB port. And I love the sleep lock feature. Lastly, we can't ignore all these unique buttons on the handle, which makes it the best for people who like designated buttons to control their camera and their settings and their zoom and focus and just a whole lot going on there. However, it does not have a joystick, unlike their prior version, the Smooth Q. All of them have the ability to smooth out your phone camera footage on various modes. They also have their own proprietary apps which give you added features like time-lapse, hyperlapses, panos, and my favorite is the active track feature. You can combine the active track feature with hyperlapse and create amazingly easy, awesome stuff. You also have photography modes such as panos and long exposures. And yes, they all do portrait mode, so if you want to do IGTV, they got you. The OSMO Mobile 2 has Filmic Pro integration, which is crazy because you could use the joystick to zoom and focus. You don't need a wheel like the Smooth 4, and it had the most functional zooms out of all the three. Zhiyun is known for their wheel with the crane too, and they've incorporated that design with the Smooth 4. With this wheel, you could use it to zoom and focus. This gimbal is also known for the ability to do vertigo effects with setting waypoints, so all you gotta do is walk straight. The MOZA has features like wireless charging, which actually make me want a wireless charging phone again. It has an insane amount of 8 different modes. Now, this is where the 360 rotation comes in because it does inception mode like the DJI Ronin S. And also, if you're doing motion time lapse, you could just continue going. You could active track and keep rolling with it. And you can also do selfie mode. It also has the ability to zoom with the wheel. However, it's really jumpy, so I wouldn't shoot while zooming at the same time. Yeah, they all claim to have this and this and that, but how well does it actually work? The DJI OSMO I found to have the best app, even on Android, and had the best user experience. While this gimbal was the easiest to calibrate, I found that the Smooth 4 was a real pain to calibrate. Even after fixing it, it had this like little drift. So if you're doing time lapses, set it down, wait a few seconds to do its little drift thing, and then it'll hold. Not only that, but some of the Smooth 4 features didn't work as well on Android as it did on iOS, such as panos didn't work at all. Even on the iPhone version, I found that the pano 180 degrees worked, but then the pano 3x3 did not work. However, this gimbal was the best in terms of designated buttons. If you're not the type of person who wants to touch their phone while shooting, it was really easy changing everything with the handle. The MOZA Mini-Me is the easiest to balance because the knob is actually designed on the back. And because of this design, the knob doesn't allow the gimbal to fold flat. This gimbal wins in terms of being able to charge wirelessly. I, again, don't have a phone that wirelessly charges. So when I charge mine, I use these 90-degree adapters, or else it'll end up looking like this. All the gimbals, however, allow you to charge your phone, which is super important because when you're shooting on your phone, you know it drains that battery. The thing is that cable can mess up with your balance and also restrict you on gimbal movements. So now you see why wireless charging is the most ideal. Transitioning over to accessories, the Mini-Me beats out by a landslide because it offers 4 1/4-20 screw ports for a variety of additionals. Because it has the strongest motors, you can also mount a moment wide lens on it without a counterbalance. I haven't seen that on any other phone gimbals. To be able to use a moment lens wide with other phone gimbals, however, you're gonna need a counterbalance. I DIY'd one. This is just with a few washers and a nut and a screw with some sticky Velcro tape, and I spray paint it black to match the gimbal more. If you don't want to make your own DIY counterbalance, Moment provides their own, which is universal, and you could use it with any gimbal. I will link that down below. Another accessory I totally forgot to mention is an ND filter. They make ND filters for your phone lenses as well, because we know phones are bad in low light, so you'll probably be most likely shooting in the middle of the day in sunshine. And you just clip it on so it fits anything. Lastly, if you watch my Getting Mini With It video that I just posted, you'll see that the MOZA Power Tripod pairs nicely with this gimbal because it also doubles as a power bank. So you can charge your phone and the gimbal if you're running low. Speaking of mini tripods, the DJI OSMO is the only one that does not come with one. You could pay $10 extra to get a base, but I personally like using a tripod. The Smooth 4 pretty much comes with all the accessories you need out of the box. It has that wheel, it comes with a tripod. If you want to be able to charge your phone easily, don't forget that 90-degree adapter. The Mini-Me wins out on best value and the most budget friendly. The DJI OSMO and the Smooth 4 are the same price at $30 more. If you want to check out current prices, check the links down below. Hate this category. In last place, I'm gonna have to pick the Smooth 4. Why? Because I use an Android phone and it doesn't really work as well with Android as it does with iOS. It's also the most bulky, and I found that the active track feature on this gimbal was the worst out of all of them. And because it's my favorite feature on a phone gimbal, I need that shit to work. You know what I'm saying? Second runner up would have to be the MOZA Mini-Me. I would like it a lot more if I had a wireless charging phone. Maybe I'll upgrade in the future, we'll see. I also wish that it had an integration with Filmic Pro because I love the payload on this and I love the ergonomics. But it's a close second. The Osmo 2 is my favorite because it is the most compact. It integrates with Filmic Pro, has the longest battery life. If I still want to use it with the Moment lens, I can. I just got to add my counterbalance. And I didn't have any issues with my Android app. I love how easy it is to have fun with using features like hyperlapses and also that object tracking. I know it doesn't come with a tripod and doesn't have 360 rotation, but I had extra tripods. It's funny because I actually used my MOZA power tripod on this one. Just provide one next time. I feel like it's the standard to include mini tripods with gimbals nowadays. In the comments below, tell me which gimbal you found the best and maybe what other features they could add. I'll be checking them out. And maybe we'll do a mobile phone gimbal challenge. Ooh, that could be fun. And that's it. Thanks for hanging out with me, UDU fam, and I'll see you when I see you. Find me on IG because I post there on the daily as well. Done. Just thinking about messing up and it makes me laugh. Next was the professionalist of them all. Is that a word? And it also has the longest and biggest battery life. Button to button, button, button to button, button. They all have the ability to smooth out a little bunny tail. Buttons.